Top 10 Worst Natural Disasters in the World. It is quite tough to conclude which natural disaster is the most fatal. There are kinds such as tsunamis, earthquakes, and hurricanes are spontaneously destructive, and each has its own power to manifest. But it is evident that they all bring significant annihilation. The following catastrophes are baleful to the 9th degree that they've been included in this video. Before we go any further, please like and subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get new excellent updates only us can provide. Without turning this into a movie, here are the top 10 worst natural disasters that could make you realize how powerful our world is. Number 10. Peshtigo Fire. On October 8, 1871, this monstrous forest fire happened on the same day as the Great Chicago Fire and various fire incidents in the area. In spite of stealing the lives of many and scattering over a much wider spot, not like Chicago's fire, Peshtigo has seriously been disremembered. Between 1,400 and 2,500 individuals eventually faced their demise when several small, restrained fires in the bush area developed. With the assistance of a storm, its fellow catastrophe, the fire metamorphosed into a violent and unmanageable fire that scattered over a distance of 1.2 to 1.5 million acres. That is double the dimension of Rhode Island. If you ever questioned what underworld or hell seems like, you could possibly gather some sort of information from Peshtigo's residents. Through the blaze, an immense firestorm exploded, and a tornado annihilated lots of rail cars and homes about with nerve-wracking strength. Currently, Peshtigo is the spot of a religious shrine where religious people assemble and pray for the safety of all, despite of the tragic happening nearby. Number 9. Mount Tambora Eruption. On April 10, 1815, one of the most powerful volcanic eruptions took place in the Indonesian island. Not just that, it altered global weather groove and yielded radical weather as well. Liable for the rare event called Year Without a Summer, Mount Tambora's erratic eruptions, it also partook the worldwide harvest defeats. Hunger intervened, all due to the reason that the mountain chose to belch, and it must have been exercising. The earshot was heard up to 1,600 miles away in Sumatra. The power of the explosion was 800 metric tons and mixed 140 tons of pumice and ash in a wind. On the other hand, the mountain itself transformed into watery-like fire. It erased nearby villages and also made an immense tsunami. Not less than 4,600 individuals passed away as a sudden result of the eruptions. What's more, 100,000 succumbed to death due to starvation and disease as a result of this natural chaos. Number 8. Daulatpur-Saturia Tornado. When there's wind, we usually decide to unwind and enjoy. We could fly a kite, hang glide, and do whatever we want. It's quite cool. But when it also decides to make its own enjoyment and suddenly turns into a tornado, it's obviously time to pack up your clothes and run for the sake of your freaking life. In 1989, Limnic, Bangladesh discovered how wrathful wind can be. Not less than 1,300 people died due to a single tornado that circled within the cities of Saturia and Daulatpur. Every house within 6 kilometers of its way turned upside down. Moreover, 80,000 individuals turned homeless while the other 12,000 were badly injured. There was no saving grace to get away from the wrath of the tornado. It's usually that it was an F5 in the Fujita scale, even though an accurate rating for the tornado was not possible because of the unsatisfactory construction practices in the region. Number 7. Vargas Tragedy. The Vargas state of Venezuela is a region that contains many mountains that butts up alongside the ocean, developing a fascinating and venturesome landscape. However, in 1999, flash floods and debris inundation stole the lives of more than 10% of the state's population. Each town was annihilated. A few were completely eaten by up to 6 meters of different debris and mud. 1.8 to 1.9 million cubic meters of deposits crashed the mountains, as well as homes, businesses, and cars, with a final price of certainly $1.79 billion. It was clearly big ticket and erased the state's building system. Between 10,000 and 50,000 people succumbed to death in the incident, and there was no source of food or anything. So few of them were rescued. Number 6. Lake Nyos Limnic Eruption. Water combined with carbon dioxide. You possibly sipped some of it these past few days. But when natural disaster produces it, it's no longer a refreshing beverage. It is the origin of a fatal gas that can smother you on a short span of time. In Lake Nyos, carbon dioxide is discharges from the Earth's crust into steady lake water within a volcanic crater, producing carbonic acid. Beneath the surface, a massive bubble of carbon dioxide constitutes, and when the water is derailed, a monstrous cloud of thick carbon dioxide oozes and suffocates every single thing in its way in a limnic eruption. In 1986, 1,700 individuals and 3,500 livelihoods have eventually turned out lifeless when one of those smokes involving 1.2 cubic kilometers of gas departed. Number 5. European heat wave. Economic perseverance normally makes it more downhill for countries to withstand with several catastrophes, but it's not always accurate. In 2003, one of the most deep-pocketed and abundant regions of the world had gone through nature's wrath. An unappeasable heat wave took place in most parts of Europe, claiming the lives of 70,000 individuals. France endured the fatal effects of this immense heat wave. Eventually the hottest summer on record since 1540, 2003 was not a year to wonder the splendors of Europe. What's more, it was the main source of heavy losses of livestock. Breeding patterns of the aquatic life were also affected. It meant Europe may have depleted their population as well. Number 4. Central China floods. Claiming the lives of 145,000 to 4 million people, these immense inundations were the aftermath of thick snowstorms with the assistance of a fast spring thaw and powerful seasonal rains on the Huai and Yangtze rivers. It was July in the Yangtze when more than 2 feet of rain descended, while in the other river, not less than 200,000 people faced their demise in their sleep when rushing waters consumed the dikes near Gayu Lake. Ultimate despair and unsatisfactory sanitary conditions led to starvation, the accumulation of typhus and cholera, and even cannibalism. Chaos due to war and politics left the region in misery for decades after the intense floods. Number 3. Bhola Cyclone. On November 12, 1970, a savage cyclone whirled into the shore of Bangladesh and India. Upazila Tasmeden was the most extremely affected spot. Over 45% of the population of the said place eventually disappeared. The catastrophic event is deemed to have suddenly affected the formation of Bangladesh. Number 2. Iran Blizzard. With snowfall ranging from 10 to 26 feet for more than 6 days, Iran's catastrophic event of 1972 wasn't just a blizzard. Not less than 4 settlements were demolished, involving Qomar, Kakan, and Shaklan, where nobody managed to survive. The city of Ardakan was also violently affected, and 4,000 to 6,000 people discovered lifeless in southern Iran due to the unmanageable snowfall. 200 villages were pulverized. Telephone lines and cars were seriously desolated. Temperatures reached a nerve-wracking negative 13 degrees. Food, water, and other essential things of humankind were out of sight. Number 1. Huascaran Avalanche and Ancash Earthquake. This avalanche was the aftermath of the Great Peruvian Quake, which happened at 3:23 in the afternoon. The tumbler vibrated a nearby area extremely and made enough annihilation on its own. But far from the central point, it shook Mount Huascaran's thick blanket of snow and ice that both cold batters fell. An alarming death total of at least 70,000 makes the Huascaran avalanche of 1970 the most fatal avalanche in recorded history. 80 million cubic of ice, rock, mud, and snow inundated the towns of Herka on a very short span of time. To be specific, 280 to 335 kilometers per hour. So, now that you already know the top 10 worst natural disaster, have you ever anticipated yourself to be in such incidents? If so, what would you do? Share your thoughts down below. If you're a true top 10 lover, stay tuned as the next top 10 video is starting. Simply watch this video next. Top 10 most dangerous animals in Asia. Do not forget to hit the like button below and click subscribe for more amazing videos.